How frustrated were you when you watched the tape Monday of the red zone and
Sure,
some of
yeah.
the missed opportunities there? Could you put your finger on what it was, or?
No, I wish you could. It'd be a lot easier to get that right in game. It was just they played well on defense. We didn't play well enough on offense, and got down there 7 times, which I think was the most we've gotten down there. And since Ben's been calling plays, which but ultimately we didn't capitalize on it, and they did a good job on defense.
Everybody loses in football. Someone has to win. Someone has to lose. What confidence do you have in this group to bounce back this week?
Yeah, a ton. That's kind of what we're built for, is responding. And we've got another really good team we're playing again this week with Arizona. And on the road, it'll be a tough environment. It'll be a tough game to win, but we'll be geared up and ready.
Are there any lingering concerns about the offense at all with just what happened? I mean, you moved the ball, first downs and everything else, but not being able to finish drives. Is there any worry there?
No, I think that's uncharacteristic of us. I really do. And like you said, we were able to move the ball. We had quite a few yards. I got to do a better job taking care of the ball in some of those situations and keep us on the field and not put the ball in harm's way. But overall, we did move the ball pretty well, and I think building off that will be the way we want to go this week.
When you look at how many times you had to throw the ball, 50 plus times, like looking at that was obviously it's probably not a recipe you're gonna do going forward. Like, what do you think about how many times you had to throw the ball?
Yeah, I think that was the plan this week, and that was the same plan we had against them last year, and we played them twice, and we beat them twice, and we had the same plan. So it wasn't like we were going to reinvent the wheel this year, and they did a good job on defense, and we didn't make it up to cut on offense. And yeah, of course, I think in a regular season, of course you don't want to have that skewed that much, but in that game it called for it.
When you have an offense that has so many weapons, do you think almost the fans and the media have to accept that there's going to be a guy left out one week and another guy another week, and that doesn't put anything in your head to get somebody involved?
In my head, zero. Not even a little bit. I'm sure Ben is aware of who's got touches throughout the year, and he's game planning up there and getting things ready. But zero in my head. And yeah, like you said, we've got, if you put this, 11 personnel out there, you've got J-Mo, Saint, Khalif, Sam, Demo, and then Gibbs. It's like that's 5 guys, 6 guys that you want to get the ball to a lot. All those guys, and there's only one football. So yeah, there are going to be weeks where, like this past week, Sam doesn't get as many touches, and the week before it was St. Brown, and you hope that rotates throughout the year. But typically the cream rises to the top, and the guys who deserve the touches will get them.
Jared, how long does frustration simmer for you after a loss like that? And how soon you just kind of flush it and focus on the next opponent?
Yeah, the next day. You watch the film, you move on, just like you would if you win. You treat both of them the same. Of course, frustrated, and there's a lot to learn. And like I said, I think I got to do a better job of taking care of it in some of those spots, and not trying to do too much in some ways, and just being a little bit more disciplined on my part. But you watch it, you learn from it, and you move on.
It's been about 2 years since this team has lost 2 in a row. Beyond just being a good team and talented, what is the key to that? Like, why are you guys so resilient, able to flush mistakes and bad games?
I do think it's part of our identity and part of who we are, and it starts with Dan, and hopefully trickles down through all the leaders and the captains. But we do respond. We always do. And it's you never hope to lose 2 in a row, but I think what we've done over the last 2 years, like you said, is respond in those situations, and hopefully do it again this week.
Today, Coach Campbell talked about Buda Baker, specifically his impact on defending the run. What have you seen in terms of his defending the pass on that?
Yeah, he's a great player. He's great at both. He's one of the top safeties in the league, and a guy that I've played since college and have a ton of respect for, and I've seen him flying around the field for almost 10 years now, and he's a hell of a player and a guy that will be out there that we'll be aware of.
Going back to bouncing back last year, especially toward the second half of the season, after every loss, you had a great game personally after that. What is it about your game that helps you kind of go out there and let it rip after a loss?
Yeah, I hope to have a short memory after a loss and after a win. I don't know what the numbers are after a loss, but it sounds like they're okay. But yeah, I have a short memory. I have to. You win, you play well, you come back Monday, you watch it, you learn from it, and you move on. And it's the same thing with the loss. And I know externally it tends to stew more when there's a loss and it leads into late in the week. But for us, truly, it's gone on Monday.
Jared, just 2 games in, do you feel like defenses are treating you guys differently in certain ways? Knowing what's coming more or not knowing?
We only played 2 teams, and both teams we were their last game last year. So I don't know if they treated us differently, because they played it similar to what they played the year before, and same with Tampa. So No, I don't have a great answer for that yet. In about 8 weeks, I'll have an answer for you.
Jared, these guys lead the league in tackles for loss. How much of a concern is that for you, your offense?
Yeah, we're aware of that for sure. They're good at it. They hit the gaps well, and I think Buda's a big part of that when he comes downhill and makes those plays. But yeah, I think this is a good team. This is a really good team. I think they've kind of rebuilt who they are over the last couple of years. They're well coached. They're disciplined. They play hard. They've got good scheme. They've got good players. It's a challenge for us, and we're ready.
A little different topic. Do you know Tua? How well do you know Tua, if at all?
Loosely, yeah.
Well, he's obviously dealing with maybe some questions about whether he should or shouldn't play. I'm just curious, concussions are a big part of the game.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts, not on him, but just on kind of like that decision that players have to cross at some point?
I'm sure he's going through a lot, and I don't want to comment on anything with him, but I wish him the best.
Would you ever wear the guardian cap in a game? Quarterbacks don't usually wear them. But.
Personally, I don't think I would. Today, no. If I had some issues down the line, potentially, but I don't know.
Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Kyler doesn't break that containment.
It's always a tough task. I mean, you see him running around all over the tape, and I think it's always just keeping a good balance between trying to keep him in the pocket, but also trying to give your best rush as well. So I think it's just a good balance.
In general, I mean, do you, not you specifically, but the scheme, do you rush a guy with that kind of ability just a little bit differently to make sure you don't give him those lanes because he can do so much damage with his feet?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. I think you definitely have to be more aware of it. He's very athletic, and he can do anything in that pocket. So awareness levels have to go up, and it's always got to be in the back of your mind. But I think we're trying to rush as free as we can.
Aidan, did you get to the point where you were running out of sack dances and celebrations and stuff?
Yeah, I think it was like by that fifth one, I was just like, I just put up my hands. I was like, it's just one of those days, where it's just you're just a magnet to the ball, and it was fun.
In all seriousness, I mean, obviously we don't want to talk a ton about yourself after a loss, but now that a few days have passed, when you look at that tape, how proud are you of the performance you put together?
Yeah, I definitely am proud. Sacks are just it's a funny thing. It's all about being in the right place at the right time and timing, and and a lot of those were also just because the D-line, we were all rushing together as one, too, and I think that always helps, and I think just, again, everybody rushing together is vital in anybody getting sacks, really,
It's a long season, but just what do you like most about the way you're feeling right now, the way that you're playing through 2 games anyways?
Yeah, I'm just taking it week by week, just plugging away. And first 2 weeks are done with, and the season's already flying. I can't believe we're already in week 3. And it's been fun, but I'm just taking it week by week.
And you feel that off-season workout showing up on Sundays? In what ways do you maybe feel more?
Yeah. I think it's a culmination of a lot. Maybe physically, definitely physically, definitely mentally. Just being in the league now and seeing what I've seen, and everything kind of slows down more once you get in the game, and just my development as a player too. It's just, I think all those things year after year as those develop, it's just your level of play is only going to rise.
You said after the game that you felt like you were in a flow state in that
Yeah,
game
yeah.
against the Bucs. But when you watch the tape, can you tell a difference from yourself from year 1 to 2 to now?
Yeah. I'm always reflecting. I'm always looking back because, I put a lot of thought into pass rush, so I like to think, I like to look back to see what I was thinking year 1, year 2, what I was doing with this and what I was doing with that. And it's been amazing to see the growth and how I've been able to just take these big steps in pass rush and the run game and just the game overall.
You hit on it a little bit there, but your teammates, right? Like the entire line is rushing well. Can you just speak to the opportunities they're helping create for you?
Yeah, I think I already spoke a little bit on it, but I think, when your big guys in the middle are getting pushed, and then we have good rush lanes on the edges, it's just who can get there first at that point, and I think that's the recipe for success for D-line, and we just got to keep it up. We got some athletic quarterbacks coming up, so it's got to be really precise with it, and communication's got to be great. So, I think we're ready though.
when you're coming off a game like that? Do you expect more attention? Does that open up things for your teammates?
You know, I thought they chipped me more in that game early, but they didn't. So at this point, I have no idea. You know, sometimes I think I'm going to get chipped and then they don't, and it's just I'm not really sure. We'll see. Well, I'll let you know after the game how much they chip me.
What are some of the challenges of going up against a dual threat quarterback like Kyler Murray, given the fact that you guys did a pretty good job over these first 2 weeks, getting home and getting after the other quarterbacks?
Yeah, again, I think it's just the rush lanes. You know, that will always be priority number one, and he can get active in the first, second down run game as well. So just always having an eye out.
When they don't chip you early when you're expecting it, do you kind of lick your lips like you're about to feast? Like what kind of goes through your head?
Yeah. You know, I expect it, and then when I don't feel a running back trying to destroy me, I think I have an opportunity. And then it kind of opens up.
This team, granted, every year is its own entity, but you guys were really good rebounding after losses last year. Do you kind of feel that same vibe heading into this week as well?
Yeah, I think that Seattle game last year, it's that one hurt too, and everybody, I mean, even in the media, everyone thought we sucked, and then we ended up going to the NFC Championship. So I think early it's always hard to tell what a team will do, but I think. Just like we did last year, we're going to persevere through the adversity and just keep climbing, and it's a very long season, so I think we're all very just, even right when that L happened last week, it's just, you kind of you're like, damn, that sucks, but hey, it's week 3 and we're 1-1, so a whole lot of football left.
Does Levi owe you a half sack after he kind of jumped on Baker there?
Yeah, he was trying to get another half out of me earlier in the game too, and I don't think he got it, but no, it's funny. Everybody was trying to tell him to give up the half so I could have the clean 5, but no, but Levi again was one of those guys that again, I mean, he didn't get blocked on one of them, but on a different one, he did him and Mac ran a game inside, and it was really good. Just rush lanes we have.
I think the first one he didn't get blocked on. You still beat him there.
Yeah. That's the one he was trying to get from me, So, but I managed to keep it. So yeah, it's fun. It's always fun when you can compete with guys for sacks, because that's how multiple guys are getting there.
Somebody may have asked you this after the game the other day. You ever had a 4.5 sack game like that? I mean, even high school.
No, I don't think I've ever exceeded 3. I think 3 was always been my max. I've never gotten past 3. So we're breaking barriers this year.
The expectations on yourself indirectly because of the season that you had last year. How hungry are you to get more targets, to get more completions, and be a bigger part of this production?
Of course, it's awesome to be a part of the production. Obviously, the biggest goal is to win games. It's great that we have a really creative offensive coordinator and the offensive coaching staff in general. So I know they're going to find ways to spread the ball around. And some games, targets might find you. Sometimes they may not. And like I said, the most important thing is to win. So if I can help contribute with a couple of catches, it's great. If not, and we still win, that's awesome.
What did losing in week 3 or week 2 last year against Seattle teach you guys about, the way to bounce back, and even just the losses last year, how you guys bounce back?
Yeah, it's hard to win in this league. Obviously, the smallest details really make the biggest difference, and really, that's how you win the ball games. We have to find ways to self-evaluate ourselves and find ways to get better and move forward from there.
Look back at last week's red zone struggles. What do you see, and where can you guys grow in that department?
Coach Johnson, he said to blame himself. Of course, we're the 11 guys out there on the field, so we feel like we're credible for everything that we put out there on the tape as well. I'm sure you can expect some more creative play calls as well as better execution. We had a couple of penalties in the red zone last week. We went backwards a couple of times, which is unacceptable, and it's just going to make it harder for you to score down there.
Obviously, with the season you have, you're not catching nobody by surprise at all either. Are they game planning against you any differently or doing anything, differently this year at all defenses when they play?
I'm not sure if they're game planning specifically for me. There's weapons everywhere. You see J-Mo the last couple weeks have huge games. You see 14 last week with a bunch of catches, over 100 yards. So there's guys everywhere. The defense really has to keep their eyes on a multitude of guys out there. So if they're game planning for me and it opens up other guys, that's great. If not, I'm going to try to do my best to get open and create some explosive plays for the offense.
On the bright side, though, what does that show about this offense as a whole, just with so many different weapons? How do you continue to stay confident in yourself, knowing that any week could be your week?
Yeah, I try to add as much value as I can for this offense, for this organization. I say that frequently, mostly because the tight end position gets asked to do a bunch of different things within the offense. So if targets come my way, that's great. If not, it's all good.
How do you think you've grown as a blocker? We saw you have to do that multiple times in the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, I feel like I'm throwing my hands a little better this year. I was, I got beat a couple times the other day against Tampa, and then I came back and felt like I had better reps later in the game, throwing my hands, sustaining blocks, and really running my feet. So just trying to continue to do that and work on that in individual and such.